Speaker, I would like to ask the following question to the nominee that I'll talk about the East African community. Honorable Speaker, the East African community, we have a chair. I don't know whether you know who the chair is, the current one. And what is the protocol that is used for electing the chairman of the East African community? The protocol. The second one is you will be, if appointed, you'll be our top diplomat within the East African community, apart from the Foreign Affairs Minister, but you'll be our top East African diplomat. And you know we have the Political Federation Protocol. As it is right now, there are a lot of tensions among member states, where Uganda and Rwanda regarding border issues. You have Kenya and Uganda on the Migingo, which is also another border issue. You have the M23 rebels in DRC Congo that is pulling in Rwanda. You have the Kenya-Somalia territorial water dispute that has gone up to the highest court of the world. And then you have internal conflicts between Burundi and Rwanda. Based on this, do you think East Africa is likely to achieve a political federation? And do you have knowledge of the political federation protocol on the East African community, and how far are we in that protocol to getting a political federation? And lastly, Honorable Speaker, I've checked your educational background. I realize a gap. You start from a trade test to a certificate, then there's a gap, then you have a degree, then you have a master's. So how did you obtain a degree without a linking diploma? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Nominee, while answering Honorable Mary's question on alternative funding, I heard you mention that you would be proposing taxes so that they can be able to be used to support the community. And be careful, Kenyans are very uncomfortable with any mention of additional taxes. I have two issues. One is the Ministry of EAC is an important ministry, because I think what part of the protocol is that every one of the partner states has to have that ministry as a standalone ministry. Although Kenya, we have connected it also with ourselves. How do you believe Kenya benefits or continues to benefit from being in the East African community, noting that sometimes some of the trade agreements are not in our favor? So I'd like a clear answer on that one. And secondly, this is basically coming from the public since we started vetting. And you have served as in the Rift Valley Water Service Board as a director from 2008 to 2012. You also were a CEC in Turkana County government from 2013 to 2016. More or less, you have actually been working for the public and earning your pay from taxpayers. Now, the thing that public has been helping us to do in vetting is the issue of net worth, and they have been very, very particular. You've noticed all headlines. Every time we have vetting, the main issue of concern is the value or the net worth of the individuals that we have been vetting. I've gone through your CV. You are saying you have a net worth of 100 million. I would like you to probably just to allay the fears of the public so that they don't think that you got this from Turkana County when you worked as CEC, to just tell us how did you acquire it? Because every time we have mention of money, people think that is all stolen money. So you need to explain to them how you acquired this money and that you've been paying your taxes appropriately, so that we can put this matter to rest. And you're doing this because of all the other candidates that have come before us who never got this question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Welcome, nominee. A quick one is that East Africa community has a common market protocol or free movement of labor. And you know very well, in this country we have a huge batch of youth who are seeking for employment. What measures are you going to put in place to ensure that this free movement of labor does not come to disadvantage our youth within the country, that is Kenya? And secondly, as you are joining this ministry, if you are approved, I want to hear your mind on the East African Development Bank, whereby it is a bank run by the state partners, and sometimes as legislators, we have been not able to get clarity on the investment in this bank, the loan portfolio in this bank, and the capital investment of this bank within Kenya. Leave the other states within Kenya, because you will be representing Kenya when it comes to that. And last, we are aware that the leadership of this bank has been embroiled on mischief of leadership. Will you be able to come clearly and firm that you will be able to stand with Kenyans to clear this mischief? Thank you.
And answer those three: Owen Bayer, Robert Mbui, and Stephen Mole.
Through Mr. Speaker, the issue of who is the current chair for East Africa Community, I have read it is His Excellency the President for Southern Sudan, Salva Kiir. And I think the arrangements of choosing is basically interpresidential arrangements internal. So I may not really have details of it, but I wouldn't mind searching over it, because I was not anticipating a situation where I would get into the finer details. On the side of the diplomacy on political federation, on what is being contested within the borders of member states. Actually, the issue is having what I started with by saying every country has their own sovereignty and their political interests. The agenda to maintain the political federation here is at least the member states having the policies through legislative arm of East Africa legislation or assembly to come up with law that will give every state member an opportunity to implement what has been agreed for the good of the community. I know it is sometimes hard, but again, mediating, consulting, talking to them and their member states and all the key partners that add value to the political federation, be it within the countries of the member states or not. They need to talk to each other, they need to embrace, they need to be facilitated for the full realization. So for me, partnership, networking is very critical in enhancing the political federation. I know sometimes they would slow things simply because one decision arrived at may not be the decision that would be fast-tracked to be implemented. But with the proper consultation, continuous dialogue, continuous arbitration can bring us to a solution that would enhance the political federation. Now, on the side of...
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Owen.
Just, I don't know whether the nominee understood my question. You know, there is envisaged a political federation of the East African states, including a currency. And including, you know, bringing it together and forming a state of East Africa. You know, and there are certain steps that have been taken towards
Owen, I think you should also be fair to the nominee. There are three different things.
Yes.
There is common customs or customs union. There is common market. There is common currency, political federation. Each is a separate engagement. So if we are talking about monetary union, don't mix it with political federation and vice versa.
Speaker, what I was trying to do when I mentioned the candidates is to show that we are bringing together the East African. How far are we in that protocol, the political one, if you have any information about it?
In terms of political federation?
Yes.
I think because the most that leads is the political goodwill from the member states. So, and if we look at where we are right now, at least I see we are making progress as a East African community. Compared to what may have collapsed the East Africa community back 1977, the things that are there right now are structures. And if you look at the progress we've made so far, which I believe is out of political goodwill, if not so, of course, not in a big way, but even enhancing an agreement to have the legislative arm in Arusha is a step forward. If you look at the way we have had the secretariat on board, it is progress. If you look at now even the Court of Justice in Arusha, it is progress. At least the progress that is headed to the right direction. I know we've not achieved so much, but I assure you, at least we are beginning and we are headed to the good direction.
Next question. To questions from Robert Mbui.
On my degree.
Yes.
On academics.
Yes, the gaps in your...
Yes, I can explain. Actually, what happened is I took a course in certificate in a place called Kobujo Social Development Training Institute that was examined by Kenya National Examination Council. And if I were not... the fact that I have no diploma means I would have reduced, if I had diploma, I would have reduced my degree years to 3. And because I didn't have a diploma, I had again to go for a degree for 4 years. 1 extra year has been added because they said we cannot be, if I would have gone for diploma, I would have gone for a degree for 3 years. And because I went for 4 years, that is now meant to take care of the diploma that was not there.
Stop cheering the nominee.
Through the chair on taxes. Actually, I know it is very sensitive right now in the Republic of Kenya to talk about taxes. Kenyans will come on you and they will come for you. What I mean here is I was seeing an alternative way of sustaining the development and the activities within the East Africa community. As a okay, of course there is remittance by each member state as a source of revenue to sustain the activities of the community. But again, I also said in the situation where now some member states are not complying by paying, remitting, that would mean there is a gap in terms of activities to be implemented. And by virtue of that gap, I gave a window. I said, even if I never said, okay, the tax that would, I said a small tax, of course now assuming it is going to be agreed upon because one proposal cannot be implemented by one state. Even if you give a proposal of tax and then it goes before member states and they say no, it will still not pass. But I was looking at a way of making alternative source of funding for for East Africa community as a proposal. But that doesn't mean it's going to be taken as it is because I'm only proposing as one member if appointed. It will still be discussed by the others. If they will find it appropriate, it will be adopted. If they will not find it appropriate, it will not get anywhere. So that one was the reason why I was just suggesting need, without really looking at the tax, the need for alternative source of funding. The other, through the chair, the other question is the ministry importance in... Sorry, come up again, sir.
The importance of Kenya being in the community.
Oh, through the speaker.